Thank you for joining us for this episode of Comply on the Fly with M3 and Karen B. Comply on the Fly is your trusted weekly resource for reliable insight and quick answers on common employee benefits compliance questions. Please note, this podcast and the contents herein do not constitute legal advice. Seek the advice of counsel for any employee benefits, compliance-related guidance, or strategy.
Hello, everyone. I'm Karen B., and the Comply on the Fly question of the week is, how do we ensure that an employee working 7.5 hours per day for 180 days per year and making $15.25 an hour is offered affordable coverage for both single and family coverage? Well, great question with a lot going on, so let's take it apart. First, the question references affordable coverage. So the assumption here is that this employer is subject to the ACA shared responsibility requirements. And ACA, of course, is the Affordable Care Act. Those requirements are applicable to employers with 50 or more employees and employers that are part of a control group with a combined total of 50 or more employees. Simply put, these requirements are that the employer offer coverage to 95%, and by coverage, I mean health coverage, to 95% of their full-time employees. Full-time here being 30 or more hours per week. And the coverage is affordable and valuable in order to avoid penalties. So again, because the reference was made to affordable coverage, we're assuming they're talking about the ACA shared responsibility requirements. 2, the question references the hours worked in a day and how many days per year worked. For purposes of the question, which is affordability, those pieces of information are immaterial. If the employer is trying to determine if an offer is affordable, it is presumed that the employer already determined the employee is full-time based on either the monthly measurement method or the look-back measurement method. So, 3, the question references family coverage. Remember, the Affordable Care Act shared responsibility requirements only requires the employer to make an offer of affordable coverage for the lowest cost single coverage option. Family coverage, for these purposes, does not need to meet any affordability requirements under shared responsibility. So 4, finally, we get to the heart of the question, which is, what is an affordable premium for single coverage for someone that makes $15.25 an hour? In determining affordability, always start with the federal poverty level safe harbor, which is, of course, based on the federal poverty level. So it wouldn't matter how much someone is making. For 2023, the federal poverty level calculation arrives at a monthly premium of $103.28. So if the employee premium is at or less than that, affordability is met. If federal poverty level safe harbor cannot be used, the rate of pay safe harbor is used. And here we would use that $15.25 an hour in the calculation. For rate of pay, you would multiply $15.25 times 130. This 130 figure is a constant and would not fluctuate based on someone's actual worked hours. So $15.25 times 130 equals $1,982.50. And then you multiply that figure by the affordability percentage for any particular year. And in 2023, it's 9.12%. So $1,982.50 times 9.12% equals $180.80. And that's the answer. If this employee's share of the health coverage premium is $180.80 or less per month, the offer of coverage is affordable. And that's your Comply on the Fly question of the week. Thanks for tuning in.
What's on your mind? If you have a pressing compliance question, send it to askkarenb@m3ins.com. We'll do our best to cover it in an upcoming episode. You can now follow and subscribe to Comply on the Fly on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Make sure to tune in next week and encourage others to join us.